Good evening. Well, welcome to yet another storytelling session. I'm really glad to see all of you coming here, especially the young ones. Welcome, my sons. And I'm glad to see our visitors from other lands coming to listen to African way of education.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
Now, as I told you last time, storytelling is an old art in Africa. And as the Africans have always done, it was not only for fun, it always had great facts. And now, the stories I'm telling you are actually not just mere stories. They are true things that have happened. Tonight, I'm telling you a story of a small boy, but because the story is actually true, this boy is still alive, the family is still there, I will change the name. I will change the name so that we protect him. So I'm giving him the name Suubi. Suubi. All right. Suubi is a 9-year-old boy. Little, beautiful, wonderful boy. Suubi lives with his stepmother and father. Suubi's mother died when he was just 1 year old. And by the way, people say that the father had something to do with the death. But nobody dared say anything. Even at the funeral, they gave a speech, oh, she was a good person, no, she is irreplaceable. But nobody mentioned what had happened. But now, Suubi is telling the story in a hospital. He is in a hospital, admitted in a ward. And he's telling this story with so much pain and showing the other patients and the other children and the people who are looking after the other patients a hand with a deep, bad wound. And Suubi is explaining how he got this wound. Because someone had asked, how did you get this wound, boy? I said, this wound, I had come from school very hungry because I had not had breakfast at home in the morning. At school, we had no lunch. When I came home in the evening, there was no food. So my stepmother asked me to go and add more firewood in the kitchen where she was cooking beans so that the beans would cook. When I got there, very hungry, the scent, the aroma of the beans made me feel even more hungry. I looked around, she was not here, and I was sure she was not going to come because it was raining outside. I got a spoon, the wooden spoon she had been using to stir the food, and said, let me eat 1 or 2 beans. As soon as I dipped the beans, and before I could eat the first one, I heard noise behind. And when I looked back, my stepmother was standing there, her eyes as red as the fire. And before I could explain, she got my hand, got a piece of wood with fire, and put it on my palm. I cried, I screamed, but she went on. That is how I got this wound. Everybody was so touched. Everybody was crying. But they were also looking at Suubi's stepmother with a bad eye. But
Was she there?
she was seated there because she was the one looking after Suubi. No, she was also crying. People, that's exactly what people are saying. You're crying crocodile tears. You are the one who inflicted the pain. But she said, my son Suubi, please forgive me. And people are saying,
Forgive what?
And because just as angry as you were, that's how everybody was reacting. So what she did, she unbuttoned her gomesi and removed her arms and turned her back to the people What they saw made everybody scared. The whole back had lots of wounds and marks and scars, and the whole back, some in straight lines, others in circles, others interlocking. The whole back was total unsightly. They said, what happened to you? What happened? And the woman explained that every time she asked Suubi's father, her husband, for money to buy food, the man brought a cigarette butt with fire and put it direct on her back.
If I got that one.
So that it could be a reminder. The number of burns were supposed to be the number of times she had got money from the husband. It was the husband, but was saying, you are always the one asking for money. This is how much money I have given you. And every time the woman wanted to run away, the man was said, your family will have to pay me money equivalent to the number of marks on your back. So because her family was poor, she could not run away to go back to her parents. And so, as soon as she saw Suubi going to eat these beans which had caused her all these injuries, she couldn't control herself. She grabbed the boy and inflicted the same pain that had been inflicted on her. So the point in this story is, how can we as human beings value other useless things like money more than life? How can we go on creating conditions of suffering which gets passed on from one to the other and eventually ending with the children? You may find such a thing has happened to you. Such a thing has happened to someone you know. If you don't, I tell you, this is a true story. It's likely to happen to someone that you know. Therefore, we need to find a way to do something to prevent the suffering, especially of young, innocent children like these ones. That's the end of the story for today.